Welcome to New Jersey. We're specifically at the second largest city in this state, Jersey City, where we're going to wander around and explore this, what people call the sixth borough of New York City, and we're going to find out why people call it that. I'm Ariel with Urbanist, and we're going to explore today its history. Maybe we'll encounter some food and also a few landmarks and its iconic waterfront. Let me know where you're watching from. And right now we're looking at the views of downtown Manhattan. However, we're also looking at the views of Wall Street. But right next door is what is called Wall Street West. And we'll find out why very soon. It feels so relaxing over here. This is the new waterfront of Jersey City. It's been revitalized significantly in the past 20 or 30 years. However, in 1916, right nearby this waterfront, there used to be an island that suddenly exploded and left a 5.5 earthquake on the Richter scale that was felt all the way to Philadelphia. What was this explosion? What happened that day? Well, let's learn about it as we walk around. Hello, May. Nice to see you here. Hello, Deanna. Valerie says the water looks beautiful. It really does. Netherlands reporting in. Hello, Edward. Hello, Judith. Hello, William. Hello, Valerie. Hopefully you don't run into any people of the Jersey Shore. You know, I actually really enjoyed that TV show. I will admit it. I really enjoyed Jersey Shore. I actually I did see all the seasons, and I really enjoyed it. So I actually would love to run into like a Vinny. Maybe not the situation, but Vinny would be nice. Look at those views. So right down there, we're seeing Liberty State Park. There is what used to be one of the railroad stations, and beyond that, we might sneak a peek of the Statue of Liberty, which is a little bit hard to see from this vantage point. July 31st, 1916. The U.S. was thinking about going to war against the Central Powers in Europe. But Woodrow Wilson ran a re-election campaign saying no more war. The U.S. will never have a standing army. At that time, the U.S. only had a standing army of about 100,000 people. If you watched my broadcast in Hoboken, you might know that changed fairly quickly. There was a few events that changed the American public's mind on war. But one event in particular shook Americans to the very core, both literally and figuratively. Because on July 31st, 2:08 a.m., there was a massive explosion right here at a little island called Black Tom Island. Now, why was there a massive explosion in Black Tom Island? Well, there was a huge barge that was holding ammunition. It was one of the largest ammunition stockpiles in the entire world at that point. And those ammunitions were mostly going to the British because America stopped selling war materials to the Central Powers, specifically Imperial Germany. And they started selling exclusively to the British and the French, and I think some to the Russians as well. A lot of people were in favor of that, especially the Imperial Germans, but also some Germans who lived over here. Because if we go back to the early 1900s, the two largest immigrant groups in the United States of America were the Irish and the Germans. Italians came later in masses, shortly after World War II, World War I. Now, most Germans acclimated very quickly. They were middle class, they were seeking new opportunities, and they started businesses, and many of them were patriots. But some of them had either allegiances to Imperial Germany or had allegiance to a thing called money. And thus they worked as saboteurs for the Central Powers' cause. And a few of them snuck into that barge, placed explosives, which were called cigar bombs or pencil bombs, because they were tiny bombs that would have a delayed detonation, meaning that they can set a bomb and then as the ship goes off into the seas, it will explode many nautical miles away and no one will know it was sabotage. They would think it was just a mistake, similar to what happened with the boiler explosion in the Spanish-American War. 2:08 a.m., glasses shattered all around Lower Manhattan. So many glasses shattered that even Times Square lost many glasses. The stained glass windows of St. Patrick's Cathedral were almost all destroyed. Thousands of glasses here, windows, all shattered in this area of Jersey City. And there was a very small infant child who was catapulted off from his crib and died. One of the elected officials of Jersey City was close to the island investigating, and he was also catapulted into the air 50 feet and died. People thought there was a massive earthquake, but it wasn't an earthquake. It was that explosion. People also thought that hundreds of people might have died, maybe even thousands. It's weird because history is kind of repeating itself right now. That explosion, if you see videos of what happened in Beirut, it's very similar. Beirut had the unfortunate incident of being in the middle of a populous area. Black Tom, the death toll ended up being only 4 people. Even though the explosion was gigantic and it shook the American public to the core, it wasn't really in the populated area. Because as we see, Liberty State Park is still pretty empty. And we're about to walk to Jersey City, which was far enough to shatter windows and give a huge tremor to the city. But luckily, very, very few casualties. Let's walk around Jersey City. Cool history, says Tara. Have you been here, asked Vic to Judith. Yeah, let me know if any of you been to Jersey City. I never knew this history, and I'm a native New Yorker. I want to look it up. Oh, cool, Cynthia. Yeah. It's a sad tale, and what ended up transpiring after that was that the Germans denied any responsibility of being involved in those attacks. And the Americans looked for every excuse to think it was an accident. The reason the American public was unwilling to think it was Germans, one, America didn't have a solidified intelligence community, a national intelligence agency, like we do now with the CIA, the FBI, the Homeland Security. Back then, there was none of that. Most of those were formed right during World War I. So just after this attack. And then the modern versions that we know today were formed during World War II. The second reason is many Americans were kind of dreary of how they were fooled to get into the Spanish-American War. Spanish-American War was caused by yellow journalism, where they said that the ship that was off the coast of Cuba was apparently a attack by the Spanish, a sabotage by the Spanish, when it really wasn't. And thus the American public really didn't have a taste for war, especially getting entangled with the old world, which they called it, Europe. They thought to many Americans, America was an industrial giant by the early 1900s, and we were just going through the Spanish flu, which originated in America. And thus the taste for war wasn't there until Black Tom happened. So I was intending to maybe go to this area, though the ferry is closed on weekends. Kind of crazy to think about. The only way to either walk here, which is like a 40-minute walk all around a very boring area, which is like filled with train yards, or take a ferry, which is closed on weekends. So maybe we'll find another way to get there. But let's go first into Jersey City. Or as Miss says, Josie City, yeah. I'm very bad at my Jersey accent, so I'll defer to Bruce Springsteen for that, or the cast of Jersey Shore. And here's a few plaques. Let's see what this plaque says. This is the Morris Canal Little Basin. The original shipping basin was constructed here after the 102-mile-long canal that reached Jersey City in 1836. So Jersey City has a very peculiar geography. So let's look at it from above. Jersey City, we have the Hudson River waterfront over here, where you can see Manhattan. But also it has a waterfront view on the other side of the city, which is the river. And that said, Jersey City is the second most populous city in the state of New Jersey. And it has a population of 260,000 people. So where am I in New Jersey? I am, what is this called? This is called Mill Basin Park. Mill Basin Park. All right, I gotta put on my mask before I go inside the city. So bear with me. Let me know if you have, have you been to Jersey City before? And let's walk around, explore Jersey City, see what it's all about. I'm by no means a Jersey expert, so if you have any questions how I'll get here, that I can answer you. All right, time for put on the mask. I miss the days when I didn't have to wear a mask to do a live video. It was so nice to not stop. And yes, I've been to Jersey City. Okay, cool, Jose. That's awesome. And Michelle, hello. Michelle, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you and your family is doing okay. All right. With this mask, I end up looking like I'm spying for the American government. All right, let's go. I've only been to Bayonne. Yeah. If you take a lot of cruises, like you do, Kay, yeah, Bayonne is usually the only stop that people take in Jersey. If you're a New York local, like I am, me and my friends would usually just go directly to Six Flags, which is like more in the middle of New Jersey. Or if you tend to have like a winter home, you might go to the Poconos. So there's a little farmer's market here, which is nice. Now, where is Jersey City situated? Well, for that, we have to look at our good old map. This is the grand state of New Jersey, the home of Bruce Springsteen, who sung the famous #1 hit, Born in America. And that little red part is Jersey City. And Jersey City is colloquially known as the Sixth Borough. As we're walking around specifically in this area, which is Paulus Hook, and it's more of the historic area, we're gonna see buildings that look a lot like walking in certain neighborhoods of Brooklyn, like Park Slope, also certain neighborhoods of Queens, like Steinway. Born in the USA, oh yeah, John. So if you want to get in that Jersey mood, play Born in the USA. Hey Irene, how are you doing? We're celebrating our National Day. It's been a weird celebration this year due to the pandemic. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a weird July 4th for us. So I can only imagine. All right, let's actually go here first. We'll go back and let's check out. Here is the light rail, or some people might call it a streetcar. It passes right through Jersey City and it connects to other areas like Hoboken, which we visited last Wednesday. Born in the USA. Yep, Judith. Uli from Brazil. Yes, we're in New Jersey. Please let me know how I say your name. And Ruslan, welcome. Born in the USSR was a different song made by someone else. Who was it again?
Yeah, that's true. She always had...
All right, so now we're going to go the other side of the canal. Because we're going to see what for decades was known as the largest clock in the entire world. But as we do, let's admire the architecture. I was walking here earlier, and this is my first time really in Jersey City, and I just absolutely fell in love with this area. Tree-lined streets, very quiet. Oh, it's the Beatles. Cool. And Madoff, welcome. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Ooh, I love the light. Me too. I really love the light. Look at this. Wow. Beautiful houses. We're going to see a little bit more of the houses because it's so beautiful in this area. So I missed the super chat. Someone left me a super chat earlier. Who was it? Ruslan, thank you so much. And Edward, Dutch guy here. Can we have New York City back, please? Yeah, you'll see more New York City. But admittedly, the scheduled live videos probably won't be New York City for maybe 1 or 2 more weeks. So I'm going to do a little bit more New Jersey. But stay tuned, put your notifications, and you'll see more New Jersey at other random times. Or you can watch my previous videos. But thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. But these 2 weeks are New Jersey based. And Ruslan, thank you so much for the RUB29. I appreciate it. Now we are in the high-rise area of Jersey City, downtown Jersey City, also known as Wall Street West. It's going to be very empty in this area, particularly because it's very business-centric. And A, not that many people in offices, and B, not that many people come to offices if they were working on weekends. Shayla, what's a super chat? So I'm streaming both to Facebook and on YouTube. Facebook, it's stars. The stars version on YouTube is called Super Chat. So Super Chat is YouTube, stars are Facebook. John, you used to work here, awesome. And have you done any videos in North Bergen? No, I haven't been to North Bergen nor Union City. This is my second video in Jersey. So I've done Hoboken so far. True fashionista, a jean jacket layered. I look so handsome. Oh, thank you so much, Lori. I really appreciate that. Now, why is this called Wall Street West? Well, a little bit more than 20 years ago, real estate here was very inexpensive compared to Lower Manhattan. Thus, a lot of financial companies started moving here, specifically Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, and Citibank is another one, and a few others. So let me know if you know of any other companies that work in this area. And there's going to be many monuments we're going to pass by. So since things here are going to be far apart, we're just going to enjoy a lot of the views as we're walking around. And this is a monument to the Morris Canal, New Jersey's mountain climbing waterway. In 1822, George P. McCullough, a Morristown businessman, conceived the idea of the Morris Canal. The canal would cross the state of New Jersey from the Hudson River at Jersey City to the Delaware River at Phillipsburg, which is basically crossing the entire state. It's super impressive canal. And in order to achieve the severe elevation changes, because the entire elevation changes in New Jersey are much more bigger than anything you see really in New York City, they had to build a series of 23 water-powered inclined planes. And in 1845, section boats were added to increase tonnage capacity, which is kind of crazy to think about. And stories were told of its use as a part of the Underground Railroad as well, which helped slaves escape from the South and head north to areas which were free. He was putting the honk just to make sure I don't walk back. That bus is very close to the sidewalk. Wow. So that's the canal, which we're seeing parts of as we're walking through. So Edward, I misread your comment. You don't want more New York City videos necessarily, or at least that's not the top thing. The top thing on your agenda is that the Dutch want New York City back. That's funny. I mean, we already got a lot of Dutch culture around here, so let me know in the comments, would anyone want to return to the days of New Amsterdam here? Are people getting tired of English and want to start speaking Dutch and maybe adopt more Dutch style? Let me know. So for decades, the largest clock in the world was right here. It's the Colgate Clock, built first in 1906, a smaller version by the Colgate Company, which is known for toothpaste here in America. And it was done for their 100th anniversary here in Jersey City. But then in 1924, they decided to rebuild the clock. And this is a more updated version, which they did a few years ago. This is currently the 9th largest clock in the world, and it glows in neon for the past 100 years. People have been seeing it from the waterfront in New York City, seeing it from the angle. Similar to how in Manhattan we might see the views of the Pepsi sign. Let's get a better view of it. Lorraine gives a super chat. Oh, thank you so much, Lorraine. I'm loving these super chats. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lorraine, for the super chat. New York City says hello to you, or New Jersey says hello to you. Hey, B. Griffin. Hello, Miguel de Puerto Rico. Gracias por mirando. Oh, I hear birds. It's the Colgate Clock. Yes, Darren. I know you know your New Jersey pretty well, which is cool. So this clock, or the 1924 version, was designed by Warren Day. And the facilities of Colgate used to be right here. Hence, Jersey City was a huge industrial capital. Right here, we are in metropolitan New York, and you can tell how close we are to the city. We're pretty close as Brooklyn is close to the city. Thus, that's why people call this the sixth borough of New York. Also, to actually transport here is way easier than I actually thought. I ended up taking the PATH train from just across the water at One World Trade Center, and it was only a mere 5 minutes. And it's a lot bigger than I thought. Yeah, they recently added like the bigger arms, hands of the clock. It's 36 tons and 50 feet tall. So bigger than most historic tall buildings. Join! Thank you so much for the stars. That is a lot bigger than I thought, says Shayla. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and this used to be on top of the Colgate building. So you can imagine that being the Colgate building, imagine that clock right on top of it. But when Colgate dissolved in the mid 1900s, they ended up moving it towards the waterfront. And it glows red at night, so as you can see it from the views of One World Trade Center, which I actually never really noticed, but is famous among many locals. Right here is a view from how you would see it from that perspective. All right, let's continue walking through. Oh, actually, we'll see a better view over here of the skyline. Harold Hader, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate it. That's the Empire State Building, of course. Beautiful views of downtown Manhattan. And this is a gorgeous perspective. I wish I knew about this sooner. As I mentioned, I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I've been here my entire life. And this is the first time I stepped foot in Jersey City. I've been to Journal Square, so I've been to Jersey City before only once. But I've never been here on the waterfront. And someone's doing advertising. Hudson Whiskey, that's funny. And there we see in the distance that iconic orange ferry that goes to Staten Island. And right there in the distance, we see what we covered before, Bay Ridge and Verrazano Narrows Bridge. And Black Tom Island was right here. So what happened at Black Tom? Let me show you photos. And this was the destruction of Black Tom, especially with the Romanesque railroad terminal that used to be there. It was one of the 4 major railroad terminals in this area of New Jersey. One of the other one being Hoboken Terminal, which we visited last Wednesday. Now, while we're here in the waterfront, let me show you how this used to look like, the terminal. It's open as a museum. And here we have what used to be the views from here before. Kayakers in the distance. Oh yeah, they are. And an aerial view of Jersey City. So this is the area we're walking through. They're building a lot of luxury apartments around here. Yes, so prices are increasing. I can imagine. This seems like very hot real estate. Waterfronts all around the world are becoming hot real estate. All right, let's continue down the waterfront. We're going to go to 2 more stops that are right next to each other, and then we're going to go into the city. B, you can see the back of the Statue of Liberty real close from Liberty State Park. Indeed, we can. I was going to go there and start the video from there, but the ferry was closed. It's closed on the weekends for some weird reason, even though weekends is like tourist time. So I couldn't start there, but maybe we'll find a way later on. Maybe. Hey John, you almost bought an apartment here in the 90s for $400K. Wish I did. Yeah, John, if you did, your apartment would be worth twice, which I think is a pretty good increase in profits. No logic with all that climate change and rise in water, Julio says. Depends. Jersey is pretty low. Jersey City is pretty low elevations, like Hoboken. The elevation here, the average elevation is 20 feet above sea level, so it's very, very low. So if there is an increase of sea level or a major superstorm like we had with Sandy, it could be very bad news. You should come over 15, 20 years ago. It was cheap. I bought my apartment for 10K. It's worth 300K now. Wow, Kim. Wow, that's quite a difference. Joey says Liberty State Park is a great place to hang out and people watch. It's cheaper to go to the Statue of Liberty from New Jersey. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for the pro tip. I always used to look over at that red clock at night, says Shayla, after watching the sunset from the Esplanade City. Oh, okay, so you are one of those New Yorkers who knows about it. That's awesome. And hello, Arthur. Hello, Persevere. Nice to see you again. What makes a city successful is its proximity to water. It does. It does. Persevere. It's been that case for at least 5,000 years, maybe even longer. But that is for another tale. Joanne says, I live in Jersey City but never been there. Watching you makes me definitely want to explore. You're doing a great job. Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. You know, Joanne, I really do appreciate that compliment. And sometimes when I make these videos of new places, people sometimes are not so welcoming on the comments, and they say, hey, why are you doing a video of our neighborhood? You don't know anything about it. You're not local. But hey, it's nice to travel and explore on live video and learn about new places. What's wrong with that? And sometimes even locals learn about new things through my videos, and vice versa. Sometimes I learn awesome things from you guys who comment on my videos. So I really do appreciate that compliment, Joanne. Thank you. So here's one of the ferry terminals, the Paulus Hook Terminal for the New York Waterway. And I'll show you how the New York Waterway looks like, the map. And these are all the stops on the New York Waterway. So it goes to Paulus Terminal, it goes to Hoboken, it goes even further up to Weehawken, and connects to 3 different spots, main spots in New York City. So we have Wall Street, which is right by the New York City ferry system that connects to Brooklyn and the Bronx and the 5 boroughs, basically, and also connects to Midtown Manhattan. I feel like we're traveling with a friend with your live videos. Indeed, Donald. Yes, that is my intention. It's always been my intention with live videos specifically. Azrielina, I love your videos and all your urban exploration. I'm so glad you do. You need to do a video on the famous mobster hits. John, great suggestion. To be honest, I really am not too interested in true crime. I cover it rarely. The older it is, the more I'm more interested in covering it. But the reason I barely do videos on mobsters or even worse, serial killers, is because it's not within my interest. And I don't think I could do a story like that justice. But if anyone knows any good channels, feel free to suggest if there's good channels about true crime or mobsters in the New York City area. Julio says live videos are the best. Oh, I'm glad you think so. So we're getting close to our next stop, which is a very, very, well, you talk about mobsters, I'm going to talk about something way worse, actually, ironically. Let's go. You're about to see what I'm going to talk about. Not, well, this too is a bit sad. But yeah, generally keep it positive and happy. The reason I don't talk about those stories is because sometimes they're so kind of specific and very dark, because they kind of, you can put yourself in their shoes even more sometimes than things that are like a little bit deeper in history or more related to war. That's why I'm a little bit more inclined to talk about war or other things. So, in September 10th, 2001, this is the view we would have seen from this perspective. However, of course, we all know what happened, and it was a terrible, dreadful day. These are one of the beams that was excavated from ground zero. However, it wasn't only New Yorkers that lost their lives in the World Trade Center attacks and also the other attacks in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the plane crashed, and the Pentagon. There was over 749 New Jerseyans that died at that day in September 11th, 2001. And this memorial is in their honor. There's also one in Liberty State Park as well. Allison says, sadly, there was a terrible crime that happened in a house party. Oh, yeah, it happens. Please, Cam, can you put your hand in for a second? Yeah, Lisa, I just did, but I'll do it one more time. And this is what a lot of people do in honor. I'm not sure if this is unique of all cultures. I know this happens a lot in America. Also in Puerto Rico, where my family's from, we tend to touch kind of these monuments as a show of respect. Let me know, is it the same in your area of the world? I think this probably is a universal human gesture. But let me know if it's a little bit weird in other places. These buildings are offices. Yes, the majority are offices where we're walking. Some of them are hotels. And I think the newer ones, they're a little bit further down, are apartments. But if anyone can clarify, I think most of them are currently still offices. (9/11, 8:45 a.m.) And this was installed by Mayor Glenn D. Cunningham in September 11th, 2002, so just 1 year after. And I think this is another statue, or I'm not sure if it's a performing artist. I don't think it's a performing artist. Here's another statue. Allison, this guy does great videos. Subscribe to him. Are you referring to, who are you referring to? Are you referring to me? If you are, thank you. If you're referring to someone else, who is it? Let me know. Interesting. So I think someone else installed this. Is it a part of the city? When I was reading up about this memorial, I did not learn about this particular statue. So if anyone knows details on this guy. Allison, you're saying me? Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying my videos. Or find these things interesting. I know sometimes not all the topics are enjoyable per se, but I hope that you do find them interesting. Cunningham died not too long after it was erected. Wow. Oh wow, the mayor, was he already old? Was he very in his late age? Mayor Cunningham? Truly sad. Yeah, truly sad. Now let's go to our second stop over here in this area. That's the Goldman Sachs building. Yes, this should be the Goldman Sachs building. I'll point the camera up. Yep. Is it this one? Yes, it should be this one right there. He was only age 60, says John W. Wow, very young. So we gotta go one more block. Pigeons are enjoying their time here. The weather on 9/11, the weather was just like this. Not a cloud in the sky. And it was especially eerie because that image is still imprinted in my mind as my dad picked me up from school. He also worked in the public school system, so he was let off early. And we're driving down Northern Boulevard, and there was no cloud in the sky, even a few hours after the attack. And the only thing you can see is that massive plume of smoke stacking above the city. It was very eerie. Abhilash, we are in New York City, United States. We are in New Jersey City, United States of America. Is it true New Yorkers hate on New Jersey? Playfully, yes. Playfully, yes. Don't think it's a real hate, but it is a playful jab. There's banter that happens between Jerseyans and New Yorkers. Yeah, B. Griffin, that's a great way of putting it. A rivalry, yes. Abhilash, thank you so much for watching from India. Welcome. So we had Irish Americans, we had German Americans. Of course, we have people from my homeland, Puerto Ricans, that came here also to New Jersey. But also, in droves, many Polish Americans came to New Jersey. And right during the 1930s, a man took over the USSR who was very different from his predecessor, Lenin, and the man who was in between him and Lenin. He was much more iron-fisted in his rule of the Soviet Union. Of course, that man's name is a name I really actually don't want to talk about too much about, because the crimes he did are absolutely brutal and barbaristic. That man is Joseph Stalin. A lot of people don't know the full extent of what he was responsible for. I think most people know what he did in World War II. World War II, Russia had, or the USSR had, one of the least trained armies in the entire world. And he sent millions of soldiers basically to their death. His strategy for protecting the motherland or protecting his power was to basically use a meat shield. Human lives. From the constant fodder, cannon fodder and gunfire from the Germans. But then Joseph Stalin also took control of Poland and parts of Siberia. We see here. The other side we're going to see Poland as well. 1939 Siberia. Sam, we're not going to talk about politics right now. The only politics we talk about is if it's more than 50 years old or more. The older, the better. And here we have, I might be mispronouncing this because this is Polish and my Polish is not good. It's Katyn, but if any Polish speaker is watching, feel free to correct me. Katyn, 1940. Joseph Stalin was an extremely paranoid man, but while also being paranoid, he took a lot of joy in persecuting and oppressing his people, even people in his own ranks, even soldiers in his own ranks. But he's also trying to squash revolutions that were happening in Poland. And he captured 20,000 Polish soldiers. He sent in one man to take care of systematically killing every single one of those Polish soldiers. It wasn't a war. It wasn't a battle. Those Polish soldiers were imprisoned and massacred one by one. The worst of them all was that one man I also might be mispronouncing this, is Vasily Blokin. He personally killed 7,000 of those 20,000 Polish soldiers. Personally killed. He is one of the most prolific, or the most prolific, serial killer in history. He used specifically one pistol that had very low feedback, and he apparently did not sleep through the night. He did all his work at night. He died in the 1950s due to alcoholism, and apparently he did kill himself, ultimately. This sculpture is a very poignant memorial in honor and in remembrance of those poor Polish soldiers that were systematically killed by Stalin's Great Terror. This was installed back in 1991 by one of the master sculptors from Poland, Polish-American. His name is Andrzej Patensky. Also might be mispronouncing that. Forgive my Polish. Now unfortunately this statue has been so controversial because, as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of new high-rise construction, new luxury buildings popping up. And thus this is becoming a very high-end neighborhood. And the developers that are constructing these high-rises were asking for this statue to be moved because they thought it was too gruesome to have in front of their luxury waterfront. However, the mayor decided against it last year and decided to keep it here at the behest of the Polish community as well. Stalin was a tyrant, yes, in every sense of the word. Yes, he was. Be sure to check out Little India. Yes, B, we're gonna go to Little India. That'll probably be our next stop. What's the history of Exchange Place? Any interesting history? Well, Exchange Place is one of the older parts of Jersey City. This entire waterfront was a historic industrial area throughout the 1800s. New York City, of course, being the great industrial power of the US, especially in the mid-1800s towards the late 1800s, and Jersey close second, before industry moved deeper into the Midwest in the 1900s. So here's a poem, I think, though I can't read Polish, and there's more here written. Let's see if there's something around one more time. And people are still leaving their flowers here, so it seems like people are still paying their respects. I have no sympathy for the people who want this statue removed. Yeah, me too. The Polish community, I think, built this because they wanted a piece of their history remembered here, where they lived for many decades and still do to this day. So here it says officially, Katian, 1940, a macabre treasury, and in it the murdered flower of the Polish nation, the army and the young intelligentsia, the creators and the heroes who, armed with swords, threw themselves on tanks. So this is also commemorating the intellectuals of Poland who also gave their lives in order to not be oppressed by Stalin's Great Terror. And also it says a treasury of lies, Stalinistic and post-Stalinistic subterfuge by governments, international commissions, writers, a treasury of infamy. Also, this is a poem. So yeah, probably one of the most poignant memorials that I've shown in the entire New York City metropolitan area. And as I mentioned, this is considered New York City metropolitan area. So one of the most poignant. Have you seen any other, let me know in the comments, have you seen any other memorials that are this poignant? By poignant, I mean, it pretty much gets the message across in a very, blunt way. So, yeah. Beautiful sculpture. This same sculptor, Patinsky, also made a sculpture of Pope John Paul II that I think is in the Vatican. So it's a really beautiful sculpture. Check out those photos. So let me show you a little bit more of the waterfront and then we'll go into the city. Deborah, you're Polish on your mom's side and I would hate to see this move. And I do have a photo of the soldiers, of course alive. There are photos of when they uncovered the bodies, and if you're curious, they are online. But here is this photo of the soldiers shortly before they were slaughtered. As you see them walking into the prisoner of war encampment. The Russians completely denied that this happened, but as they were entering World War II, aligned with the British, ironically, and the Americans, there were, and this was recently uncovered, secret talks between Churchill and the American president at that time, FDR, and Stalin to keep this hush-hush. So they denied that they knew anything about this massacre in order to continue the war as is. The statue is too sad for me, but it gets your attention. It is, yeah, it is. My son's 6th birthday is today. You're all welcome to cake, ice cream, and pizza. Oh, the US, yeah. Let me know your son's name. I'll be happy to say his name on the broadcast if you care to share. If not, it's okay. Great name for a city, US. Here's another sculpture. Let's see what this is all about. This one's called Shattered. The sculpture is a continuation of the sculpture Homme and Femme, which means men and female. Embodied the strength of the stability of a person, standing proud and confident. This new sculpture is shattered version of Homme and Femme, affected by this pandemic of our lives that has shattered, and now we are all lost, separated, confused, and grieving, but we still support and lean against each other to get through life's challenges. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, everyone. This is surprisingly becoming a very kind of poignant exploration. This is the reason why you should sometimes explore new places. Even though they might not on the onset look interesting, compared especially to other nearby places, sometimes you have to give them a chance. Where's Homme and Femme? Let's see where Homme and Femme is. Maybe it's this one? Let's see. That's a very deep meaning. Yeah, I agree. Very, very deep meaning. Is this Homme and Femme? Let's see. I can't tell. It doesn't have a marker, so probably this is maybe shattered. Yeah, this is shattered as well, I think. So Homme and Femme is somewhere else. So poignant message about our pandemic, that even though in these times, just like what we talked about in World War I, remember, people during World War I were also in the position where they were in the middle of a pandemic and thrusted into a war. Hopefully that won't happen in our generation. But during these times, we were all left lost and confused, and I really do love that memorial. It's very nice that they say that despite being the lost and confused, we can still lean on each other, which is very true. I mean, that's why we see a random dance party in Williamsburg, or that's why we see kind comments on an online video, or people kayaking in the middle of the Hudson. We see so much beauty, even despite the worst of circumstances, at least from our point of view. Because the more you read history, the more you end up realizing humanity has been through this over and over again. Sometimes a whole lot worse. And other times, they've been better. But everything that has happened will happen and has happened before. Kevik? Is it Kevik? Kevin? Let's see. Kavik is an Eskimo word for Wolverine. Kavik from New York City, well, from across the water in New York City. In Jersey City, we wish you all a happy birthday. Everyone give a big happy birthday to Kavik, the son of U.S. militia who's watching. So hope you have great pizza and ice cream today. Those, of course, iconic treats if you're anywhere in this area of the U.S. So happy birthday to you, Kavik. The sculpture reminds me of the WTC girder beans. Yes, it does. When will I go to Liberty State Park? Maybe, I'm not entirely sure, maybe another day. It's very far away from here because the ferry is not running on the weekends. And Joe says, nice haircut. Thank you so much, Joe. And go see the mall. The mall, Joe, it's personally not too much of interest to me personally. Unless if there's some history or some very unique element to it. But thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it. If we pass by it, I will point it out. Now, we saw the skyline. Let's go into Jersey City. Let's go this way. Yvonne, you love my haircut. Oh, I'm so glad you do. I actually got to take a water break. So before we go to Jersey City, a little bit more of the skyline. Adam, the ferry's not running here, but the tram, good idea, interesting idea. Christine, I appreciate the hearts. Thank you so much. I mean, the stars. Thank you so much. 182 watching on YouTube and 61 on Facebook. Oh, welcome everyone. Nice to see you here. If you're watching for the first time, let me know where you're watching from. I like to respond to people. This is not so much a formal tour. This is more of a conversation. This is more of a hangout. So with a guided hangout, when you're hanging out with a friend and you intend to see the sights, this is that type of live video. 250 seems to be Ariel's consistent audience. So far, yes, that seems to be the case. Though I'm currently covering a place probably that doesn't draw too much attention as people are kind of typing around on YouTube. But soon you'll see bigger cities. Bernard, thank you so much for the stars, for the hearts. Shadow, I didn't see your comment earlier. Please repeat it. I did not see it. Hi, Wolfgangs. Thank you so much for tuning in. How are you doing? Can we see the edge from here? Yeah, we did. Right by the Empire State Building. You saw it briefly. It was the very sharp building. How far is NYC from Jersey City? Literally a 5-minute train ride. And the ferry is only, about like a 5, depends where you take the ferry from, about a 5-minute ride. So quiet, yes. Judith just sent me a tip on PayPal. Judith, thank you so much for the PayPal. Big stars to you, big hearts to you. Videos like this are sponsored by all the PayPalers, Super Chatters, Star Senators, supporters, and patrons. Let's see the map. This is Exchange Place Waterfront. We're right here, and the PATH train is right here. That's how I got here. This is how I recommend to get here the fastest. It's only a 5-minute ride from Wall Street, and you can do a transfer if you get on in around 33rd Street. And there's also a tram, so if you go to Hoboken, you can connect here as well. And Shadow, hello, nice to see you.
Yeah, God.
Shadow, oh, no worries at all. I'm not sure if I even interpreted it that way, so no worries. Can you see the Newport Mall? No, I don't know where it is. Let me know where the Newport Mall is. We're gonna continue walking this way though. Let's go to Little India. Yeah, everyone, as I mentioned, we're wandering around, so don't pay attention too much about the directions. Again, my friend Action Kid has done Jersey City as well. He's done all different parts of Jersey City, and he provides specific directions. So after watching my videos, go to Action Kid's videos, and you'll really get orientated very easily. But my style of walking, I don't like directions because I like spontaneity. If you watch enough of my videos, you'll know why that spontaneity ends up being a very good thing. Donald says it's not a tram, it's light rail. Well, Donald, it's called light rail here in Jersey City, but in many parts of the world, that type of transportation is called the tram. And that's why people are calling it a tram, including myself. And yeah, it's very quiet in this area. Very, very quiet. Tram equals light rail, yeah, exactly. It's an interchangeable term. Hey, Mark, nice to see you here. In Amsterdam, that would be a tram, yeah, exactly. And of course, that's a bus. So we're gonna take this road actually direct. And let's go to Little India. There might be not much to see for about 10 minutes as we get there. But you know what we can do? Ah, yes. I got this. Okay. We're going to walk a little bit better on the historic area. Seems like a quiet area. Yeah, it is. Right now, this is a very office-centric part of Jersey City. So hopefully we'll be going to an area where there's a little bit more life during the weekends, because it's a little bit more residential and restaurant-centric. Have you ever taken the MTA/NJ Transit bus? Yeah, Adam, I've taken the NJ Transit bus a lot of times to Six Flags. I've been to Six Flags Great Adventure, which is a theme park, similar to what people will encounter with the Disney World or Disneyland or Universal Studios. We have what is called Six Flags. There are many of them all around America, but the biggest one, especially the one with the biggest roller coasters, is here in New Jersey. How far is here to Journal Square? That's quite a walk. Journal Square is, I think, about 25-minute walk, or maybe a little bit more. Jersey City is actually pretty big. One old building survived, the yellow one, yeah. Oh, here it is, yeah. Oh, thank you, David. Let us know a little bit more about this building. I don't know too much about it. I'll show it from the other side of the street. There's not that many plaques in the specific area. It's not like Hoboken. Hoboken had a lot more plaques. Hello, Julie from Korea. Hello, Mario from Costa Rica. Bienvenidos. Gracias por mirando. Y cualquier persona está mirando de Latinoamérica o de España puede preguntarme cualquier cosa en español. También soy fluente en español. I also speak Spanish. Abilash, please no politics. Stream quality is above the rest to most others. Oh, 4K, I'm so glad you're enjoying my stream quality. Are you referring to as technically? I don't know, thought you knew. Yeah, I wish I knew. You know, it was a little bit hard to research for Jersey City. There wasn't good blogs that I could find in this past few days about Jersey City. You know, as I mentioned before, I'm not a historian, I'm not a journalist, and these are not lectures, and these are not journalism. So what I do is I do research mostly through podcasts, through blogs, through books, or through lectures that I might find on YouTube. I try to find the best quality history I can. But they're all, you know, secondary sources or tertiary sources. So as I was trying to search for stuff on Jersey City, I couldn't really find that much. Hoboken was a little bit easier to research for. There was a few more videos and websites about it. But here's the old courthouse. This I do know. Karen loves the hair. Oh, thank you so much, Karen. Indonesia night, but the US is US morning. Oh, interesting. Indonesia is watching from the nighttime. Cool. So here's the historic courthouse. And there's one story tied to this, because for many years, New Jersey City had its own version of Boss Tweed. It was Boss Haig. And he ruled New Jersey City with an iron fist. Basically set up huge lavish amounts of money. Even though he made a measly salary of $8,000, he lived like a millionaire. He had massive condos all around the world. He owned like a luxury suite in an ocean liner. He also had a permanent room in one of the major hotels in New York City. I think it was the Waldorf Astoria. He was embezzling a lot of money. The problem with Haig is that he set up a precedent for governmental corruption here in Jersey City, which lasted all the way through the late 1970s. And he was based here. At least this was one of his buildings that he visited the most. So here's the courthouse from the front. In the Plaza Hotel, he had his office, says Kim. Yeah, Oh, all right. So he mostly stuck to his luxury living to do governance of Jersey. So here we are entering the historic downtown. And we can see more high rises down there. And more historic architecture over here. Now, a lot of beautiful houses. So let's actually go one more block. We'll go through here. I'm glad you do research. I love learning, says Mark. Indeed, yeah. Well, of course, as I mentioned, it's not a lecture, it's not journalism, so always do your own research before. You can think of me as just sparking your interest. If you want to go deeper, the rest is up to you. So, some outdoor dining.
It's like everyone always like, but I do.
Oh, really? Best history lessons you give, says Joe. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Don't worry, B, we're gonna see some Indian food soon. Once we get to Little India. We're kind of taking the scenic route. We'll be there about 10 minutes. Hermoso día, como acá en Buenos Aires. Oh, qué bien que está siendo buena clima en Buenos Aires. Y sí, hermoso día aquí también. Se está poniendo un poco frío. It's a beautiful day and it's getting a little bit cold here in New York City, hence the layers. What's the temperature? It is a nice, sunny 60 degrees. And for me, it's a time for a water break because I'm wearing a mask and can't drink water while walking around. And thus, I gotta stop to drink some more water. So let me know if you have any general questions about Jersey or about how I get here, or about New York City, or about food. Happy to just chat randomly. There's not that much history as we move forward that I researched beyond the waterfront. So now we're just going mostly to check out the local scene here in New Jersey. One little piece is that, as I mentioned, there was a few immigrant groups, Irish, German, Polish, and Puerto Ricans started coming here a lot in the 1970s as New York City was declining and going bankrupt. Some Puerto Ricans moved over to the island, and some Puerto Ricans started moving out to other cities like New Jersey because they were cheaper and they were safer. Puerto Ricans quite didn't move to the suburbs yet because most of them were in that income bracket as the Italian Americans were. But now, in the past 30 so years, there's been a massive influx of Indians. And also, by extension, Bangladeshi and Pakistanis. So we're going to see a lot more Indian businesses, and as we walk around, you're going to see a lot of Indian people also walking around. So a lot of Indian Americans, I mean. Because many of them are already first generation or second generation. Because a lot of their parents came here in the 1990s. Similar to my parents from Puerto Rico. Desis. Indeed, that is one way to call the Indian population here. Oh, wow. We've come across an outdoor classroom. I didn't know this was actually going to happen. 4K Wanderer, my family's from Guaynabo, mostly. And then on the other side is the Piedras, which are kind of right next to each other in the area of San Juan, which is close to the capital. So yeah, most of my family is close to the capital. Outdoor classroom. Oh, wow. Hello, Naresh from India. So we're about to see a lot of Indian businesses soon. And I love these streets. Look how beautiful. I love these tiny little streets. Can I do a video of Mitsuwa Marketplace in Edgewater? Maybe. What's Mitsuwa Marketplace? What's cool about it? Shadow. It's too chilly to have them outside, says Danicia. Ooh, where are you referring to? Wow, I see a Porsche. Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some expensive cars. It's quickly becoming a very high-end neighborhood in this area. En Buenos Aires hay salones de clase en la exterior también. So Ruben says also in Buenos Aires, Argentina, they're also having classes outside. Oh, interesante, sí. Yo creía que no lo iban a hacer aquí también, pero se ve como aquí en Nueva Jersey lo están haciendo. I didn't expect them to have outdoor classes here, but it seems like in New Jersey it's going to happen. It's actually pretty cool. But I feel bad for the children because I am wearing 2 layers right now. And because I'm walking, I'm feeling okay. But if I were to sit down for a while, I would feel freezing. I'm watching your videos, and they're very informative and interesting. I'm so glad you think they are. That's awesome. I'm so glad you think they're very interesting. Thank you so much for tuning in. U.S. Militia, I'm so glad you're enjoying my videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Was there an area of enslaved Africans in Wall Street? Jacqueline, yes, the largest slave trade in America above the Mason-Dixon line. Mason-Dixon line is an arbitrary delineation between northern U.S. and southern U.S. The biggest slave market was in Wall Street for most of the 1700s, I think all the way to about the 1820s. And it continued, I think, illegally underground after it was abolished around 1827. It continued for about 20 more years illegally in secret. So, yeah. New York City has a tricky past with that. And that does tie to the demographics that you do see in Jersey. Because, of course, we have a lot of African Americans, makes for more than 20% of the population. And due to New York City being very unfriendly to the African American population in the 1860s during the Civil War, there was a massive riot where they unfortunately lynched many African Americans, more than 100, including burning an orphanage that was of little African American children, and a few of them did lose their lives. It was a very terrible riot that happened. Lots of racial tensions between what they called nativists, which were Anglo-Saxon Americans, mostly of British/Scottish descent, and Irish were also having tensions with the African Americans. And thus, after the terrible massacre that happened, a lot of African Americans started leaving Manhattan. They went to Brooklyn, places like Weeksville at first, which I did a tour of, which is right below Bedford-Stuyvesant, and also neighborhoods like Bedford, Fort Greene, and many other areas. But also a portion of those African Americans came over here to New Jersey, specifically to Jersey City, and deeper, so like Newark and Trenton. The draft riots were in the Five Points area, yes. Is your Weeksville tour on FB? It's only on Facebook, not on YouTube. So search Weeksville Urbanist on Facebook. I think we're getting close already to the area. So we should be like a block or 2 away. Let's see. Yep, we're getting close. Okay, cool. We're basically already there. So actually, I'm gonna walk one more block. Let's walk across the street. Zolst, what year was this? I think it was 1864, 65. Civil War era, so 1860s. If anyone remembers the exact date, let me know. Weren't there lynchings? And yes, that predates the Civil War draft riots. It did happen fairly, it happened a few times. Let me read the comment. If anyone's watching from either Facebook or YouTube and don't know what I just mentioned, please feel free to ask. So Marguerite asked, weren't there lynchings in Washington Square Park? There were. And I believe people were buried there. Yeah, over 20,000 people are buried underneath Washington Square Park. Wow. What is this house? It has a warning sign on it. Sean, I'm about 20 minutes away you're about 15 minutes away from us. Downtown Jersey City. Used to be very rough up here in the 1990s. So many abandoned, burnt out buildings on that very block you're on. Oh, wow, really? Oh, wow, things have changed. Thank you for letting us know, Sean. Are you using an iPhone Steadicam? I'm using a DJI Osmo Mobile 3. All my gear is in the description below on YouTube. I can't put all the information on Facebook. The app won't let me. Interesting fence. Yeah, interesting fence. Love the US. Urbanist, I have a question for, and you can feel free to call me Ariel. Urbanist is the name of my show. So I go by Ariel, which is my name. Urbanist is not my nickname. This is the name of the show. I am a urbanist, like there's many other urbanists out there. But let me answer your question. You say, do you believe that slavery has evolved to the Hispanics entering the border? Ooh, foreign. I'd rather not get into that. That is current news, current politics. So feel free to ask anything about history. We don't talk about modern, current news or politics here. Okay, so I think we're here. We've arrived. Let's see what's up. Nice little house. Yeah, it is. All right, so here is a restaurant. Let's check out what this restaurant is. Supercars everywhere. You seen a few? Yeah. Zolst. This place is called Frankie. Look at that. Do you like Krispy Kreme, Tim Hortons, or Dunkin' Donuts? In New York City, I wouldn't eat any of them because there's way better donuts than any of those three. And I will say that with certainty because I've tried many donuts around the city, and there's so many of them that are way better. But if I had to choose while traveling around, I haven't really tried Tim Hortons, so I don't know. Tim Hortons is mostly based in Canada. I know there's a few locations here in the US as well. But I would pick Dunkin' Donuts over Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme seems like too much sugar compared to Dunkin' Donuts. Even Dunkin' Donuts is also very sugary. Krispy Kreme has a little bit less. So for context, if anyone doesn't know, those three chains are coffee and donut chains here in the US and also in Canada. Not Indian food in Frankie's. No, I don't think so. There were a lot of Indian Americans, and there were, of course, other demographics as well there. White Americans, African Americans, Hispanics. But let's see. Let's go through Newark Avenue. Let's see if we bump into some Indian food. Ooh. There's a city bike in Jersey City. Look at that. I did not know City Bike was in Jersey City. Wow, the more you know. You can get around bike. You don't need to go the long way like I'm doing via walking. Let's show you the system for the city bike. Wow, there's stops all around Jersey City. So this is all of Jersey City. And Journal Square is a even more heavier Indian area. And we're right now in the historic downtown. And here's City Hall. I walked past the Indian food restaurant before. Oh, cool. What's your favorite diner? Ronald, great question. I don't really have one off the top of my head. Though, if I were to go to a diner, I would focus on going to a diner in Astoria, Queens. Many diners were bought out by Greeks in the 1960s and a little bit later, 1970s. And thus, when you see a Greek owner in a diner, I think that's a pretty good indication that's going to be a great diner. So yeah, I would go to Astoria, Queens for diners, though I don't have a specific one in mind. And when it comes to diners, you really don't need a specific one in mind. You just kind of go to any of them because they tend to be very similar in taste. And you tend to go whenever you're like hungover, at least me and my friends do, when we're hungover or kind of wanting a very, very late night bite if we're, out on a night of drinking or smoking. So we go to a diner. And sometimes we go to, I think it's called Neptune Diner. I forgot the exact name. Galaxy Diner or Kellogg Diner. I forgot the exact name. But it's the one right off the Lorimer stop on the L train in Williamsburg. That's another famous one. It's also the one, I think, depicted in the show Two Broke Girls, or at least referenced. Modern City, says Zolst. Yes. Hey, Marguerite. Hey, Mark. Hello. It is quirky, says. So British style. Yeah, it is British style. Deals were made. Oh, referring to. There's a Tim Hortons outside Penn Station. Yeah, I've heard. I tried their coffee and donuts. Didn't really care for it. Yeah. I mean, when you're in New York City, and even here in Jersey City, I already encounter very good coffee. I'll write the place down after I'm done. It's called Sam I Am Coffee, I think it was called. And yeah, even in Jersey City, I've already encountered great coffee. It was a really great cup of coffee, actually. Ooh. So someone said British style. Here's a sculpture in honor of the Catedral de Oviedo. A gift from the citizens of Oviedo to the citizens of New Jersey City in conjunction with the sister city relationship of both cities, and the mayor being Gambino de Lorenzo Ferrara. So Oviedo, let us know where Oviedo is. Is Oviedo in Spain? Catedral de Oviedo, that is Spanish. I'll read in Spanish as well because we have a few Latin Americans tuning in. Catedral de Oviedo, recuerdo de los ciudadanos de Oviedo para los ciudadanos de Jersey City, con motivo de la emanamiento de las dos ciudades, siendo alcaldes Gambino de Lorenzo Ferrara y Jeremiah T. Healy. Oviedo is in Spain. Thank you for letting us know, Rome. So Spain. My friends and I used to order Chinese food after parties in college, says Shadow. Yeah, that's another typical American thing to do. So we're in Grove Street, and let's go to Newark, which is the main thoroughfare for this area. So a lot of more restaurants here. Here we're starting to see more life because we're entering more of the residential area. Scotty's Diner, you recommend Graham. Oh, Graham, thank you so much for the recommendation. If anyone else who's been to Jersey City or is a local, let us know if you have any recommendations for this area. What places should people try as they're walking around? So across the street, we're already starting to see some Indian cuisine. We have Shadman restaurant, Pakistani and Indian. Never knew that, learn something new every day. So for context, Indians have been moving all throughout the many suburbs in the US. So they've been moving to smaller towns or smaller cities all throughout the US. And you'll find Indian enclaves in sometimes the most random places, or at least places where you wouldn't typically think of an ethnic enclave. Because ethnic enclaves, at least traditionally, used to be centered around major cities through the 1800s and the 1900s. That has changed, especially with the Indian population. And they also moved to places more like New Jersey rather than in higher concentration in New York City. New York City, of course, you'll see a lot of Indians in Jackson Heights. But they've also moved in massive numbers here in Jersey to the point where the largest Bollywood theater in all of North America is here in New Jersey. And also, there's also some of the biggest events for Indian Americans in all of America is here in New Jersey. And we're starting to see the diversity of Jersey City because across we see some South American food, el sazón de las Américas. Happy Saturday, Rafael. Thank you so much for tuning in. The part of Newark Avenue by Journal Square is known as Little India. Yes, we're getting close to there. Love the dedicated bike routes. Me too. It's nice to see. Ooh, this is a very pretty area of Jersey City. I am really astounded by how gorgeous Hoboken and Jersey City is. As I mentioned, being a New Yorker, I used to have a very bad impression of Jersey. And that's mostly due to driving through Jersey. And when you drive through Jersey, you mostly drive through the other areas, which might be look a little bit more run down or a little bit more poorer. This is way different from what I imagined. Hey Donna, nice to see you here. Huge Bruce fan. Oh, cool, James. I'm glad you love the boss. We are in the boss's home country of New Jersey. This is looking a lot like London to me. If anyone has been to Shoreditch, this looks a lot like Shoreditch. It looks like the border between Shoreditch and Spitalfields. And that might be also because of the Indian businesses, because right next to there is Brick Lane. So I'm kind of getting London flashbacks right now. Let me know if anyone's been to the area in London. Love that wave. Me too. I'll show it a little bit closer. Cool street art. Ariel, would you consider moving to New Jersey? That's a good question. I don't know. I still really like New York City for living. But I really do enjoy how both vibrant and calm Jersey is. So far, Jersey City and Hoboken. So I'm really liking how there's this combination of calmness, but also life. Oh, look at this. This is Newark Avenue. This is really giving me London flashbacks. Let me know if you've been to London and you know what I'm talking about. Historic Jersey City. Lots of buildings from the late 1800s. And of course we have the new modern high-rises. Be sure to hit that like button. Oh yes, indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Bill, B, for reminding everyone. It's cheaper to live in New Jersey than to live in New York City. Yes, if you compare square footage. A one bedroom might cost the same here in Jersey City to a one bedroom in New York City, but that one bedroom here would be about twice the size. And it's only 5 minutes in Manhattan, yeah. There's a great bar called Barcade here. Yeah, oh, there's a Barcade here. You know, I noticed a lot of New York City chains here in Jersey City. So I passed earlier a Bob White fried chicken counter before I started my live video. And right over here, we also have another popular chain in New York City, Two Boots, which is in the West Village and also in Williamsburg. They sell kind of New Orleans style pizza and po' boys. And here's one of the most popular restaurants, Porta, which I've heard very great things about. Porta. Oh, I really love this. The word bookstore is on my left. Is a cool bookstore. Let's see. I'm gonna take my sweet time through here. So I hope you enjoy it. Sweet, sweet time. I've seen by Springsteen's house many years ago in Freehold. It was a small house near a gas station. It might still be there. Oh, Jane. Well, cool that you passed by it. Where are we, Lost Boy? We are in Jersey City, New Jersey. Not to be confused with Jersey, the island that belongs to the UK. Well, you do museums in the winter. Sam, I love doing museum live videos, wherever it's easy to do, and or if I collaborate with them. So yeah, you will see more museum videos. Hopefully with the pandemic wanes down, so more museums open. Yep, it's reminding me more and more of London, says Kay. Yep, I feel transported back to Brick Lane in London. That's how I feel, or Shoreditch. It just literally giving me those vibes. Closed streets, the lights above the street as well. Of course, a lot Indians, which you see also a lot Indian British people in London. Here we see a lot of Indian Americans. Many museums don't allow you to film. Indeed, in the US, yeah, that is the tricky part. In Europe, they're so cool. They sometimes even welcome me when they see me with a camera. I love filming in museums in Europe. They're really, really chill about it. But not so much here. That's why I haven't really shown you the MoMA. And, well, the Met, just maybe type Urbanist Met on Facebook, and maybe you'll find something. I shall say no more. I shall not say no more. This man is driving on the sidewalk. Hey, MDW, I'm glad you're enjoying this tour. Oh, a very old style store where they sell a variety of goods. National discount store. Which is weird. In the Europe is opposite. Yep, exactly, Sam. Exactly. It's the opposite. I filmed freely, without issue, in the Louvre, in the British Museum. The only place in Europe that I couldn't film was at Prado. That's the only place where they didn't allow me. But every other museum in Europe, they've been more than okay. And ladies and gentlemen, Barcade. Usually very great, and I assume this one as well, for a very big variety of beers. And also, they have arcade machines. I'm gonna just show you from the side. They have arcade machines. There's a nice park 2 blocks to your left, says John W. Okay. Thank you for the recommendation. Maybe we'll check it out. Almost $100 a month from Sherlock. Ooh. No stock market talk here. This show is all about history, food, and culture, so feel free to ask anything about that. Ooh, and street art. Here we have a mini Flatiron in Jersey City. Look at that. The Jersey Flatiron. 3 stories tall. Even has that kind of same extension on the bottom, just like the Flatiron. That's so cool. Does anyone know if they actually call this the Jersey Flatiron? Let me know in the comments. Marguerite, super chat. Ooh. Yay! Thank you so much, Marguerite. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. This area is sponsored by you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Cute Flatiron. This is a very cute Flatiron. Yeah. This area is awesome. I agree. I really do agree. And if you're watching for the first time, I know I have a lot of new people watching both on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Ariel, so feel free to ask me anything. And if I'm stumbling on my words, it's because I'm very parched. I gotta drink some more water. How long am I gonna stay in New Jersey? You'll probably see a few more videos in New Jersey. Maybe 1 to 3 more videos. I don't know yet, but a few more. Sadly, that barcade is going to close soon because they're either renovating or building a new building on that corner. Oh, that's sad to hear. I assume a lot of people enjoy their barcade. Hello, Edwin. Put this on TikTok. Oh no, Christine, I can't put it on TikTok. TikTok is only 1 minute. So no, I can't put a full live video on TikTok. But you will see stuff on TikTok. Maybe I'll do something about New Jersey on TikTok. Look at this beautiful mural. Wow. This is by Nate Frizzell. Nate Frizzell. 238 people watching on YouTube. Oh wow, we have a lot of people tuning in. Welcome. Amber, will I try some food? I think I will. I think I will. Let's see, let's put it to a vote. Shelly, you're not for long, it's banned. What are you referring to, Shelly? What are you referring to? Let me know. Huh? Video? Yes. Making food videos. Yeah. One thing other here in America, sometimes you gotta watch who you point the camera to. Doesn't happen too much in Europe, but sometimes people here get very, very kind of suspicious, which is weird. Here's a cereal bar. This one is also in Chinatown in New York City. So a lot of places here that are also in New York City. Not my type of art style, says Adam. Thank you, Ariel. So much fun watching me. Oh, I'm glad. And yeah, TikTok might be getting banned. Hopefully not. I right now have 54,000 followers on TikTok, which is nice. Let's walk a little bit more and let's see what else we find. Here's a nice bank building. Drinking time, says Elisa. Maybe, let's see if we bump into something nice. Wow, cool murals here. Really cool murals. Here we have a Vietnamese place, Saigon Cafe. I love Vietnamese food. If you're in New York City, highly recommend trying Vietnamese food. Or in the metropolitan area. Is this a little corner? Let's see. Looks like half a building. You know what would be a great place to shoot, Sam? I've done Philly before. I've actually partnered up with the tourism board. It's all on Facebook. And I did like 4 awesome videos in Philly. One of them, I went to visit a college that looked like ancient Greek ruins with 2 awesome historians. So I've done a few awesome videos in Philly. Check them out on Facebook.
Yeah, we got the light.
Maybe I'll visit it again. Jose, maybe not. It looks very relaxing and inviting, says Rich. So Jose asks, am I planning to eat or drink something for real? Maybe not. I don't know. We're going with the flow over here. Sean says Coro Coro, right there on Jersey Avenue, is the best spot in downtown. Ooh, Coro Coro. Nice. Thank you for the recommendation. Should do more videos in Philly, says Shadow. Maybe. I really did enjoy Philly. It's a very nice city. Good food as well. So here it's starting to kind of die down a little bit. Not that many places. Wow, why not on YouTube? I just started doing live videos on YouTube only 2 months ago, a little bit less. YouTube used to not be good for live streaming before like 5 months ago when my friend Action Kid started doing it and a few others. It wasn't really the best place to do live streaming. No one really saw a live stream. And even if you made a live stream, YouTube used to not show your videos afterwards to other people. and or show your videos less, because naturally a live stream, no one really watches it the full length. So YouTube will interpret a live stream as being kind of a poorly done video. That is no longer the case. And that's why I'm starting to do YouTube. And I've been doing videos for 4 years, almost all on Facebook. Let's see a little bit of the street art here. This feels very different from South Jersey City and beyond. Yeah. Yeah, you know, B. Griffin says drivers are much more hostile towards pedestrians. Yeah, I feel really chill over here in Jersey City. It feels very nice. Looks like a poor city. It really isn't. It might appear that way. It is compared to maybe Manhattan, certain areas, or certain areas of Brooklyn. But it is pretty well off, especially more towards this area, the area we're walking from. So there's not much this way. It's not that much this way. Let's see how far are we from. Let me show you a little bit more of this way, over here. What's the history of I-78 in Jersey City? I actually don't know too much about the history, but I do know the general history of the highway system. It was mostly implemented in, starting in the 1930s and 40s, especially in the 1930s, because America wanted an easy system to mobilize troops if we ever had a land attack from the Germans, because the Germans, both Imperial Germany and then also Nazi Germany, had many plans, very solidified, on taking over America by land. So that's why they built the interstate system initially. And of course they expanded it even further in the 1950s with the rise of cars, where everyone was starting to buy a car because they were super cheap, very easy to buy, very easy to produce, and very profitable. And thus many cars were starting to be sold. And there was a massive rush of suburbanization in the US. Hello Anna, nice to see you here. If you go about 5 to 10 minutes from here, it's a really rough area. Yes, downtown Exchange Place are really the only nice areas of Jersey City. Oh, thank you for letting us know. Yeah, I'm getting that impression. I'm definitely getting that impression. All right, I'm gonna show a little bit more of these buildings. Let's see a little bit more of this. It's very nice. Many murals, yeah. Let's explore a little bit more of the murals, if we spot any more. And this old church. Man, a lot of tagging over the good street art in this area. Yeah, it happens in this area of the US. A lot of graffiti artists want to tag over murals for various reasons. There's a lot of feuds. Do my arms get tired? Not so much. Arms don't get so tired. Oh, I love this church made out of brick. It's so beautiful. Wow. Does it feel colder than the temperature suggests? A little bit, yeah. A little bit. It's getting a little bit heated now. Wow, beautiful houses. 4K when I stopped creating content. I started creating content 4 years ago, around May 2016, a little bit earlier. April 2016 is when I started creating content. First for a job, I worked for Vox Media, and then I started my own thing on Urbanist in September 2016. I just love the look of this area. You're so lucky. I'm just excited that we have a Tom Hortons now in Scotland. Oh, Shelley, I'm glad you guys have a Tom Hortons. I'm glad it has come true, come to fruition for you. You're not from Newport, New Jersey. Jose, where are we going? We're just wandering around, Jose. We're wandering around. All right. What do you do after to relax after a live stream? I work a lot, so I usually go back home and start editing videos and do freelance work. But in order to relax, I usually sit down by the waterfront or sit in the park. It's a lot of sitting.
And her mom had something at 10. Oh, shit.
I also love having a good plate of food. I still haven't visited Albany. Oh, you haven't? Albany, you know, I actually only been once, and I don't remember too much about it. Looking for a home in Brooklyn? Am I? Not necessarily. I'm eager to travel around. This place is huge. It's called Ashford. Whoa. Even have a rooftop. All right, let's see. Let's check out Porta.
Good. Yeah.
Hey, table for one. Outside, if possible. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
One, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this is for our final stop in the tour. Is a restaurant that has very high reviews. It was mentioned in so many other food vlogs that I am excited to show all of you. It's classic Italian-American style, but let's see how it is. I was hoping for some Indian food, but I didn't see so much Indian food with outdoor dining, which was a shame. So this is second best. And yeah, I got a nice table. It's a very nice spot. So let's try it out, everyone. And arroz con habichuela y bistec. Yo esperaba que había un poco de más de comida puertorriqueña, pero aquí casi no hay. So I did not find Puerto Rican food. I was hoping. Puerto Rican food tends to be very rare. So no rice and beans with chicken. All right, let me show you the menu. So have I done Prospect Park? Yes. So feel free to ask me anything about food, about New York City, or general questions about New Jersey, how to get here. I'm open to any questions at this final stop for a tour. I hope you enjoyed the walking portion and the history portion. And let's just enjoy one final meal before I bid you adieu and try anything to eat and drink. Yes, we're going to try something. So let's try something awesome. Let's try something unique. What other languages do I know besides English and Spanish? Only English and Spanish. I can say hi in a few other languages. I can say in Filipino, ¿Cómo está acá? Namaste. I want some pasteles en mofongo. Well, 4K Wanderer, I might find some pasteles en mofongo soon. Stay tuned. I'm going to do my best to do a video of it very soon. So let's see what they have. They have some very interesting pizzas. One called Love and Mercy, homemade Italian sausage, braised pork shoulder, meatballs, Parmigiano Reggiano, ricotta, and basil. Whoa, that's crazy. That is a really big combination. And they have, of course, cacio e pepe, very classic Italian Roman dish, and amatriciana, classic Roman Italian dish as well. They have one called Lars and the Real Girl, which is mozzarella, pecorino romano, taglio. Interesting. Ooh, they have one with goat cheese. Interesting. Oh, I love that. That's very interesting. The Summer Betty. And of course they have some plates, which seems like it's more breakfast oriented. And cocktails as well. Don't forget cocktail. All right, let's see the cocktails. So here they have Tito's vodka with peach puree. Whoa. Okay, I'm almost sold on that alone. Fresh mint and simple syrup. Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll be right with you, my love, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem.
And look at this. Whoa. Really cool home cocktails. They one have called the Cure with ginger beer and some more ginger, whiskey as well. That seems very strong. One with fresh mint and cucumber. Oh, that's interesting. Cocoa nuts with coconut cream pineapple juice, so kind of a pina colada. And Aichiwawa. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna try this first one. It really seems interesting. Peach puree, iced tea. Ooh, amazing.
How are
Yes.
you, honey? My name is Gianni, but I'm gonna be taking care of you.
Awesome, thank you.
problem.
I'll have the sun tea.
Sun tea, of course.
Yes, and then also the Summer Betty, but without mozzarella.
No mozzarella.
Yeah.
Okay, the goat cheese is fine with you?
Goat cheese, perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah,
No problem.
and that's all.
You got it.
Yeah.
Sun tea, Summer Betty, no mozzarella.
No mozzarella.
You got it. babe.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. I love this little stand that you have. It's adorable.
Oh yeah, thank
Where
you.
did you get it from? Like Best Buy or something?
This is on Amazon.
Amazon.
It's called
And
DJI Osmo.
And what is it? Is it like a little like?
Yeah, so it stabilizes.
Tripod. Okay.
Yeah, and then tripod,
Oh,
so you
it's
could put it down. Yeah.
What does this do? Is this like to record hands free?
This is recording hands-free, yeah. Yeah. I do food vlogs and travel vlogs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Keep that in mind.
All right. So, cool. Too many people walking by. Yeah, there's a lot of people walking by. It's normal. That's the only way you can really eat. You can't really eat with people not walking by at all. So it's not really possible. Someone left. Whoa, who was this? I got a super chat for a lot. I'm not sure how much is this. Thank you, Babu, for 400 yen. 400 yen. Thank you so much. I think that's yen. Let me know. Prospect Park. Have I done Prospect Park on Facebook Live? Yes. Go Urbanist on Facebook. Search Urbanist Prospect Park. You'll see a few of them. I'll try to go again. Usually Prospect Park has terrible reception. So it's been rare to do a live video, but maybe I'll do a special vlog on it, potentially, if you're interested. And maybe a new subscriber. Indeed, maybe. And no mozzarella. No mozzarella for me. I just want some goat cheese. And do you know a little bit of French? No vale pour français. Not at all. Barely any French.
Do you want a fork and knife, my love?
Yes, please.
Yes,
yeah,
no
thank you.
problem. Yes. What's up?
And in Spain, there are no more paper menus, only QR. Yeah, here a lot of places are doing QR, but not that many paper menus at all. Max, thank you so much for the stars. Oscar, what's my favorite food? Well, if you see my show, you probably think it's pizza. I do enjoy pizza, but in my normal everyday life, I really do love rice bowls. I love burritos. I love Mexican food, especially rice bowls and burritos. Those are my two favorite things. So any rice bowl with a bunch of vegetables and some meat, either seafood. I'm really addicted to poke balls right now, which is raw fish in a rice bowl with a lot of veggies. Really love that. I don't do that too much videos of because, it's not something, it's more fast food, it's more casual. So it's something I haven't really covered yet, but maybe I'll show it to you one day. So many Indian people, yes. In this area, as I mentioned, it's one of the top Indian areas. There's a lot of diversity, of course, overall, but you will see a lot of Indian Americans. And hydrate, indeed. And Madrid is getting locked down this week. That's so sad to hear. I'm a little bit worried about New York City. I hope it doesn't turn the same thing here in New York City. It's 400 rupees. Oh, thank you. $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, part of the cocktail is sponsored by you, MDW, or part of the pizza. Do I like pasteles? Asked Joe. Pasteles is, for context, is plantain mashed, wrapped in plantain leaves, stuffed with pork, pernil, or kind of a diced pork, it depends. And with onions and a few other things, like garlic as well. And then it's boiled, the entire thing. So that's really good. I really do enjoy it. And it's especially enjoyable during Christmas, and it's a Puerto Rican delicacy. And it's hard to kind of find places where they sell them. Only during the holidays will you'll find them.
Because it wasn't me.
Or what do you guys, if you guys want to like, get it and then I can.
And do you like garlic and onions with fish? I do. Israel locked down then yesterday. Yeah, Judith and the person who just mentioned Madrid, and also I know a few Australians are watching that have issues with lockdown. I hope things get better. I'm a little bit scared that here in the US we might go the same path that's happening with Europe. So hopefully it doesn't end up being that bad. Thank you so much. Ooh. So Adam asked, what alcohol do I like? I like, personally, I don't know, I tend to like cocktails in general. So cocktails, first of all, the number one cocktail I like is Negroni, because I love the taste of Campari with gin, I think it is, or was it vermouth? It's a really good combination. But if I were to make any cocktail, I would drink mostly rum. I'm Puerto Rican, so I might be biased in that respect, but I really like the combination of rum with a different variety of fruit juices, and also it combines well with a few other liquors. So yeah, rum. But feel free to ask me anything in general about New York City, or travel in general. Or actually, let's guide the conversation a little bit better. Ask me anything about travel in general. Well, your travel philosophy, about what do you think travel should be, how you should travel, or ask me anything about kind of in the bigger context about travel. And looking forward to Scotland next week. Oh, Rich, you're visiting Scotland. I'm glad you're traveling within the UK. I'm so jealous. I can't wait to go to the UK. It is something I'm really, really eagerly looking forward to do at some point. And my husband loves Kraken rum. Kraken rum is really delicious. Ooh, wonderful.
I hope
Oh,
you
yes.
love it.
That looks amazing.
It's literally like it's perfect. When he made it, I was like, dude, this couldn't have been more perfect like, at all.
Indeed. Thank you so
No,
much.
No problem. What's up, guys? Check, no problem. We just got all this stuff.
Look at that. This looks good. Whoa. Let me. Judith, my favorite destination is. I love London. I deeply, deeply fell in love with London. So London is my favorite city outside of New York. And here's the cocktail, really delicious cocktail. And look at that pizza. Smells amazing. Whoa. So there is one reason we're trying some Italian pizza here, or Italian American pizza, is because Jersey, along with the other immigrant groups, also has a strong Italian American presence, just like Brooklyn does. So many places in New Jersey are also known for their pizza, and this is one of them. This is one of the newer spots that's known for their pizza. And do I know Tokyo? I know of Tokyo. I've been researching Tokyo already for the past 3 years. I started researching Tokyo in 2017. I haven't been there yet, but I'm very eager to go. All right, first I'll describe you the cocktail. So very sweet, very minty. It tastes like a spiked iced tea, kind of like a Long Island iced tea, except a bit more mintier. Really good. It's like a Long Island iced tea meets a mojito. Let's try the pizza. Ooh, look at that. I already like the crust. Very soft. Let's try it out.
Here you go, guys.
It's a really well done crust. The goat cheese is strong, so you're tasting a lot of goat cheese. The tomatoes are a nice touch, especially these yellow tomatoes. And they're kind of more tangy taste to it. And I love how the crust is well done. So it's really good pizza. Not Naples style, so it's kind of more veering towards New York style. But I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's a really well freshly done New York style pizza. You can tell that the bread is cut above from the sliced joints. And the tomato sauce is chunky. So it's more like marinara. And it's really good. It's nice tangy tomato. Really good. But the warning, if you get it with goat cheese, it really does overpower the rest of the pizza. I like goat cheese, luckily, but it does overpower the pizza. Delicious. So I recommend Porto here in Jersey City. Really enjoying it. I'll leave my coffee recommendation later. It was called Sam I Am Coffee. And I'll stay on for about 5 more minutes. Feel free to ask me any last questions as I eat a little bit more of this pizza. Sliced joint, yes. A sliced joint is, if you're not from America, or even New York City, sliced joint just means a place where you grab a pizza by the slice. And that's like the New York terminology for it. And people in New Jersey will use the same terminology. Even though New Jersey and New York have like a rivalry in a playful way, some banter, there's a lot of similarities in the culture, especially since we're so close to each other. As I mentioned, we're only 5 minutes away. So someone earlier asked, how did I get here? I took the PATH train from Wall Street all the way to Exchange Place, which is where we started the broadcast. And it was only a 5-minute ride, very close. And there's another PATH train stop here called Grove Street. So very good public transportation. I haven't taken the light rail yet, but it looks easy as well and looks like it connects to other parts in this area of New Jersey. So I'm actually really pleasantly surprised at how easy it is to maneuver around this more urbanized area of New Jersey. So if you're a tourist in this area, you can easily kind of explore all the sites.
Bye guys, take care. Have a great day.
Any hacks and tips for people who want to do more solo travel? Great question, 4K. I've done Zols. Okay, so let me ask Zols first. Have I done video about Washington, D.C.? I love Washington, D.C. I've been there many times before ever making videos. I really want to go. I'm a bit cautious with going now. The closer we get to the election, I'm not going to talk about politics, but just in the context of travel, the closer we get to to elections, I don't feel comfortable with going to Washington, D.C. And that's why I haven't covered it yet. But maybe I might change my mind and go as soon as possible before anything might change or might not. So, in order to answer your question about solo travel, I've done most of my travel solo. I've traveled a few times with friends, but most of my other travels have been solo. And my biggest pro tip is there's going to be a few cities that there's going to be a few cities. There was a group of women just passing by, and one of the women just said in a very strong Jersey accent, "That's the cutest thing I've ever seen." Like me talking to the camera and the device I'm using. There's going to be a few cities where it's more friendly to solo travelers, and other cities that are not so friendly to solo travelers. The only city I've encountered that is very awkward to travel solo is Madrid, Spain. It's weird if you go to a restaurant alone in Madrid. They would look at you weird. They might not want to seat you in Madrid if you're alone. They'll huffle and puff about it. So that's the only city I've felt not so easy kind of going on my own. Tapas for one. Yeah, it's not a thing. To Spaniards, it's weird. It's weird. But on the other hand, you have cities that are very friendly for solo travelers, male or female. And those cities are Paris. Paris, you can easily go dine alone. It's normal. And the cool thing about Paris, there's other people dining alone. And it's a very friendly city for meeting other people, maybe in a platonic sense or maybe in a flirtatious context. Or whether male-female or male-male, female-female, trans, anything. It's a very friendly city. So as a solo traveler, it's very friendly to kind of just sit down alone and kind of relate to other people. New York, same. London, same thing. London, I felt very comfortable. London is actually very friendly in the context that you can go to a pub, and it's actually pretty easy to meet people. Londoners are very friendly people. And it's one of the few cities I've been to that are super friendly. And another tip I would have for a solo traveler is, I would say, go with the flow more. If you stick too much to an itinerary, I understand that sometimes you want to optimize your time, but if you have at least a minimum of 1 week, go with the flow. I would recommend at least give a few days of going with the flow, especially if you're a solo traveler. It might be a little bit tricky if you're traveling with a friend or with a significant other or a family, because there's different tastes. So make sure who you're traveling with if you do that. But if you're solo, it's the opportunity to literally wander around like I do with these videos. That's the opportunity to wander around, to do things randomly, to walk into new neighborhoods, to go to a new restaurant, to go anywhere. You'll run into many magical things. It's happened to me in London, it's happened to me in Paris, it's happened to me in Rome, it's happened to me also in Finland, in Helsinki. So there's, and not so much in Madrid, because Madrid is a city you really want to wander alone too much. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Let me know what other cities are great for traveling alone. Have I traveled with, I've traveled with female friends. I haven't traveled with a significant other. Yeah, I haven't done that in my life. In New York City, yeah. But not abroad. So I don't know. But when traveling with a female friend or female family member, I would say it's okay. In most cities I've encountered, pretty chill. It's been okay. It's been really relaxed. I haven't encountered really a city I felt really uncomfortable in yet. I've been to 16 cities. Naples, San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've been to Madrid, Paris, London, many other places. I felt very comfortable in all those cities as a male, and the cities I've been to with female friends have been Rome, Milan, Sicily, and a few others, San Juan as well. And those places also felt very comfortable. Yeah. Do I prefer to travel alone? When I'm making videos, yes. It's so much easier. I would, if I'm making videos, and I love making videos, to be honest. If I were to travel, it has to be with someone who likes history or does their own thing while making my videos, which has happened before. Or if I have a significant other, it has to be a significant other that really, really enjoys making videos, if they do, yeah. So, I have a group of young children watching me, right next to me. I got appetite for a tomato flatbread, pulled pork, and mozzarella after seeing your meal. Oh, I'm glad. And I got appetite, oh yeah, I already read that. What was the last time you've been on a cruise ship? I've never been on a cruise ship in my life, ever. Haven't been. Do you prefer to travel alone? I already answered that. Manchester in the UK is a lot friendlier. Ooh, I can't wait to go. That's why I'm so eager to travel all throughout the British Isles. So just by going to Amsterdam, or just by going to London, Bristol, and Glastonbury, I just got very great vibes from England. And it feels like I can travel anywhere and just meet awesome people. So I'm excited, personally, really excited to go all around the British Isles. Do I usually use Airbnb? Yes. So if you're traveling alone, I also recommend Airbnb. It's a lot more inexpensive. If you're traveling with a lot of friends, also use Airbnb. It's very inexpensive, most cities. Mm-hmm. Marguerite says, I have no trouble going solo in Rome. Likewise. Italy was also a very friendly solo traveler city. I felt very calm, very, very relaxed. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
that you were going live.
Yeah.
What app are you doing?
I'm using an app called Prism Live Studio.
Really?
And it goes to Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun. I'm not verified on either. So. I've done this, I've done this for 4 years, live streaming, all around the world. Yeah. Are you guys from Jersey?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Jersey?
Probably the building.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, the buildings are very beautiful. All right, guys, have fun. Yeah, there's a group of kids talking to me. They were asking what app am I using, and they know I was live streaming, so they're very up to date with social media.
Everything's good over here, babe?
Very great pizza.
Awesome.
Yeah. Come to Bath next time. Yes, I can't wait to go to Bath. How sweet, yeah, it is. Do you usually use Airbnb? I already read that. Let me see if I have any last remaining questions. I really do appreciate everyone asking. Julio said, Jose's calling me Action Ariel. I'm not Action Ariel. My show is called Urbanist. Very different from my Action Kid. Action Kid does his own thing. But we also love collaborating. He's a really cool guy. I have noticed with your last few lives, you've been free-flowing and it turns out great. Yeah, Louis, the reason I'm free-flowing, here in New Jersey, there's not a big concentration of history, so I can't really do that really specified history talks. So I decided to go more free-flowing just for New Jersey. But in the context of New York, I've already done over 1,000 videos in New York. I've done so many videos in New York. And I've kind of run out of, or at least of interest of covering specific history. Maybe the interest will come back soon, again for a few more spots. But I've been enjoying more going free-flowing, so we can discuss history in a more looser, casual way. And that's why I really enjoy doing this kind of wanderings around, especially live video. So you're seeing a little bit more vlogs from me, so you're going to see a little bit more directed focused content. But here, kind of enjoy the randomness. It's an interesting way of experiencing the city. What are the pros and cons of Airbnb? Airbnb outside of the US, it's cheaper, bigger, tends to be in neighborhoods that are more centric around food and more vibrant neighborhoods. So, for example, Airbnb is more in this type of neighborhood, right here in this Newark Avenue, rather than a hotel, which tends to be more in the financial districts, here in the US and also in Europe. And the financial districts, after 7 p.m., basically on weekdays, and on weekends, it's dead. And that's the issue with hotels in most cities around the world. They tend to be in financial districts. Thus, Airbnb, I like staying because I'm right next to all the life. And it's easy for food. So one of my priorities, and I recommend this if you're traveling around, especially if you're doing more longer travel like I've done, and I've shown on these videos, you get to have food close by just in case you're doing very long traveling. If you're really going all around, walking for hours, going to, say in Naples, you're going to Pompeii, or here in New York City, you're traveling to Sleepy Hollow, or going out to Long Island, or going here to Jersey. When you go back to your Airbnb, you're close to food. So you don't need to think about the food. If you're in the hotel, you either get hotel food or you're kind of screwed after 7 p.m. The con is, in the US, it's about the same price, Airbnb and hotels. And I'm not sure, I haven't done Airbnb fully in the US, but my impression is they're as small as hotels, so it doesn't really make a difference. And yeah, I meet cool people while walking around, yeah, indeed. Enjoy your free-flowing talk, says Alan. Cool, Alan. I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad you've been watching for before even my YouTube days. Better alone than bad company. Yes, indeed. Indeed. I've traveled one time with a friend that we end up not really getting along during the travel. And this was before I started solo traveling. So we just decided to kind of give up hanging out with each other because we just kind of weren't meshing well while traveling around, and I just enjoyed going to the museums alone, and that was where I started getting my taste for traveling alone. I was like, oh, this is nice. I don't need someone necessarily to travel around. It's fun, of course. Life is always more fun with people. So when you're around, if you're open to it, definitely encourage you to chat with the waiter, waitress, or with someone you meet in the bus, or like I do sometimes in these videos with the mixologist or someone who asks me about what I'm doing on the camera. Sometimes I read books and someone's asked me what I'm reading, things like that. So I always encourage you to kind of chat with people. The world is much friendlier than it seems. Here in the US, we tend to have this kind of perception that the world is this unfriendly place where traveling is very kind of dangerous and people are out to get you. It's not like that. You can find me at Urbanist Live. Type Urbanist Live, facebook.com/Urbanist Live. It's the same orange U, shadow. And would you like to go to Fire Island? Maybe. I'm not sure if there's that much to see in our Fire Island. There's beaches, but I'm not sure. Let me know if there's something interesting. It's fun to flirt when traveling, yeah. Think about this, when you're traveling, you can be anyone. You go to even a new city, a new neighborhood. You can be anyone, but especially while traveling. You don't know anyone in that city. No one knows you. No one knows you. So you can literally take that moment to experiment and just be anyone. So think about that next time you travel. Consider the fact that you can, act a different way. You can experiment with being more extroverted if you tend to be introverted. You can experiment with just being introverted, not giving a F about sitting down and reading all day in a cafe. Maybe it's the other way around, right? Try being someone else. It's a very good experience when you're traveling. I'm glad you're showing the friendlier side of the world because it's not being shown in the manner. It isn't. If you watch news all the time, or if you watch certain vlogs, which I won't name any names, but there's certain vlogs, certain news stations, media that show that the world is a very dangerous, terrible place, but it's not. And there's many other vloggers out there who show that the world is a friendly place. Like on Facebook, there's Nos Daily. On YouTube, there's Casey Neistat and a few others. If I'm traveling with someone else, what if I don't recognize yourself? Maybe, yeah. Maybe you won't recognize yourself once you go back. Would that be a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe not. If I'm trying to, isn't there lots of material regarding Robert Moses in New York? There is. Oh yes, there is. I might do a video on Robert Moses soon, so stay tuned. And I must try to be someone else next time I travel. Says, okay, yes, try it out. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Good advice. Action Kid did a video. Oh, cool. Yeah, check out Action Kid did a video so far, and also this area of Jersey. And I find videos give me hope that are still living life. They are. I'm enjoying New York City while, enjoying the now. Have you ever run into danger situation or people? People, yes. I met some weird people, and out of all the cities in the world, the weirdest people have always been in New York. Maybe it's because I've done more videos in New York, or maybe it's just New York, there's always a subset of people that tend to be a little bit weird with the camera. We encountered that a little bit earlier. Right now while walking around, a guy was a little bit suspicious that I was filming. That happens in New York City. I haven't encountered that in other cities. So danger, I never felt in physical danger, but I've always, I've had a few instances where I felt weird, but they've been very few, very, very, very few. In other cities, the only weird place I've felt is there was an area in Madrid. Sorry to pick on Madrid. It was right behind the Jewish district, the historic Jewish district. It was a very abandoned looking place. People were outside playing, but once I started walking around, and it wasn't with my camera, I was just strolling. And it's not like I look very foreign in Spain because I basically look Spaniard. They all stared at me. It was very odd. It's very odd. I don't know why. And I felt very awkward then. And it also happened to me in Naples, not to a big extent, but I did a 3-hour live video last year in Naples, and it was awesome. But I got into a neighborhood where I got really bad vibes, and I really didn't want to go in. And in New York City, I covered the Indian cave, the Lenape Cave in Inwood Park. And it's a really cool story about how the Dutch bought Manhattan from the Native Americans. David, yes, this chat is live. But the cave, as I got closer to it, and this is all live video, I saw clothes that were hung, graffiti that was painted in red, and the clothes were tattered. And I just felt I felt a pit in my stomach, like a huge pit in my stomach, and I did not want to go any closer, and I left as soon as possible. And this is you can see this in that video. Search Inwood Urbanist on Facebook. I got a pit in my stomach, and I follow my intuition. So whenever you're traveling, this is another piece of advice as a solo traveler, or any type of traveler, actually. Follow your intuition. It might not make sense all the time. Sometimes you might get a bad feeling in your stomach, even if you're in the ritzy area. If you do, I would say follow your intuition. Go with your gut. It's sometimes very inexplicable, but trust me, as we do in these wanderings, sometimes I go into a random restaurant and I go to a random corner and I follow my good intuition. My intuition says, let's just wander there. And it ends up being an awesome time. You see this on live video. I can't edit these videos. And I don't edit these videos. So you end up seeing really what happens when you wander around. So follow your good intuition, but if you get bad intuition, which I've also gotten a few videos, Naples and Inwood, don't go there. I know your information on there, and I don't want to share there too. I'm not sure what you're referring to. They're apparently get loose from a car. Gotta go with the gut. Yes. FB doesn't work. It's Urbanist Live. Yeah, it should be there. So much for the 5-minute live. Yeah. Bruno, it happens. I love talking. So that's why I always warn my friends is if you hang out with me, I can talk for hours. So I always tell my friends, let me know if you gotta go. I'm okay. Let me know if you gotta go, because I will keep on talking. I really love chatting. It's just fun. To me, it's just fun chatting. And I am unabashedly accepting now of my love for chatting. And if you do hang out with me in person, it's not like I chat over people. I tend to really listen whenever I'm with a person, but since this is a live video and all of you are commenting via text, I'm the one mostly doing the talking. Elisa, thank you so much for the stars and love listening to you talk. I'm glad you do. Ate breakfast today. Yeah. Okay, one more slice. One more slice. Rapid fire. 2 minutes. For real this time. For real. Kathy says, you are right. Always follow your intuition. You're the best at what you do. I've watched you since... Yeah, I'm very good. Very good. You're the best at what you do since the beginning, and yet I still love what you do in NYC. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Rapid fire. 1 more minute. Have you been to Atlantic City? No. Not so interested in Atlantic City. I'm a little bit more interested in Las Vegas. So you might see Las Vegas at some point for 2 or 3 days. I think I can easily do a few awesome history videos on Las Vegas. That's cool history. Atlantic City isn't too much of my interest. And I tend to only cover topics I'm interested in. I love hearing what people want to see. So thank you for recommending things. And if I find them as interesting, I will go to them. So I really appreciate everyone who recommends. Someone, I forgot exactly who, but there were a few people who recommended Jersey City and recommended Hoboken like a month ago. And thanks to you. At first I wasn't interested, but because of the recommendation, I looked at it again, so I came here. So I really do appreciate recommendations, but fair warning, this channel is only covering stuff I really like that's in terms of history, food, and culture. So you'll see those things, and usually, anytime you see a video, it's gonna be something I like. And that's, I think, what I bring to all of you in these videos. I want to show you something that really comes from the heart. Not something that, is informational just to get more views and kind of have a bigger clout. There's many other channels that are more informational and more generalized. There's one channel called All NYC that does amazing generalized videos, but that's not me. So you can follow like Vox Media, you can follow Travel Channel, there's a few other, All NYC, there's a few other channels on YouTube and on Facebook that are more generalized. But on Urbanist, it's stuff that I can truly draw passion from, and it applies to something that people can learn about history, travel, or food. And will you do a video on Bob Dylan? Maybe. Bob Dylan is a very interesting character. I've featured him before. Search Urbanist Music History. And I did a live video with an amazing tour guide about the music of Bob Dylan. Okay, everyone. I'm going to bid you adieu. This live video is sponsored by all the super chatters, the star senders, the supporters, the patrons, and the PayPalers. So Judith, Laureen, Matis gave a very generous donation. Many other people have given extremely generous donations. So thank you so much for your contributions. Everything goes to supporting, covering food, attractions, transportation, and other amazing things. So stay tuned. There might be a bonus video of some form of transportation that I personally really love, and I know many of you love as well. So always put on your notifications, because you never know when there might be a bonus live video. Saturdays and Sundays at 1 p.m. Have a great day, everyone. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. All right. Bye, pizza. I'm going to eat the rest soon. Have a good day, everyone.